We'll call the meeting to order. And how I can take a roll call from here. Participants.
You want me to run through it, John? I could do that.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm just not even.
Okay. Justin Lambers.
Here.
Nick Rolinski.
He's muted, I think.
Here, sorry, here.
Thank you.
There we go.
All right. Stephanie Nieves. She is not here. She just had her baby in the last week and will not.
Oh my.
Pierre Fowler.
Now I don't see him.
We lost him, but he's coming back hopefully here.
Okay.
Okay, let me finish. Mark Cook.
Here.
And Mr. Shea.
I'm here. That's enough to move ahead.
Yes, you do. You have 5 and
Okay.
soon, well, you have 4 right now. That's enough to move ahead. If Pierre joins us, we'll be good to go.
Okay, fine. Let's begin with the approval of the minutes of February 2nd. There's Pierre.
Yeah, I seem to have made it back again.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a
Welcome back.
message saying I was having low bandwidth.
Okay.
Well, we got your face now, so
Yeah,
that was good.
I would move to approve the meeting minutes from February 2nd.
I support.
Moved by Nick and supported by Mark. All those in favor say aye.
I
Opposed, the same sign. That's approved. This is the public comment section. This is for items that are not on the agenda. Is anyone with us that wants to discuss something that's not on the agenda? Don't think so. We'll move on to unfinished business. First is a certificate of appropriateness for an address that's flitting away from me here, 12 West 13th
Yep.
Street.
I'll just give you a quick update. Kilo is not able to join us tonight. He is working, and I'm not quite sure what time it is there, but was unable to join. He did submit an image of the proposed door that he has found. I think you've all got it in your packet. This was tabled last week. Or actually, this was denied. The original application was denied last month. And so he went back and visited Menards, I think online. And that's the door that he has identified as what he's looking for. I sent him some questions, asked him some questions about the door, got a little bit of information back from him, and also went down to Menards today to try to take a look at the door and understand the options. If you're at all interested, you can go online to Menards and find there are lots of options in this basic door, or a door maybe with 2 panels at the base of it, but in this 3/4 size window arrangement, there are any number of versions of that, from clear glass to frosted glass to the muntins dividing it in 6, as you see here, to no muntins, to a little wider door with a blinds that could be lowered, and there's all kinds of things available. So I guess what I would suggest is, if you're comfortable with this direction of looking at the door, I'd be willing to kind of resolve details with Kilo, with whatever direction you'd like to give me on that aspect of it. But This is what he's provided. It's a steel door. Not sure there's much more than I can tell you other than what you see there. It is, I'll say it's more considered, it's an exterior door. At Menards, I was looking around. The only one they had that was similar to that, most of their doors were pre-hung. So they were there with the frames, and I wanted to see the weight of the door and get a better sense of that. And it was a little hard to do that. But Kilo said, please proceed. And if there's a reason to table it for more information, we can go that route as well. So I guess that's where we are with this.
Phil, this is a solid exterior door. It's not a storm door or something that would be added on to something else, right?
No, it's a solid door.
It's a solid door.
It's a steel door, an insulated steel door.
Okay.
But it's I forget, I think there's a dimension on here in terms of the thickness, but it's a front door, a typical.
It's the thickest door he has, probably.
Yeah.
I guess I'd like to know how the members feel about this being a thick door as opposed to some kind of a storm door or a porch or screen door.
I'm not sure, if you're looking at it, it seems to me that one of the things we discussed a lot was being able to look into it and kind of having it be more window than solid door, compared to the one that he's got on there. I'm looking at the picture of his house with the red door on it, and it's a little hard to eyeball, but it kind of looks like, there's one that has the red door there.
There it is.
It looks like the bottom panel of the proposed door is kind of in line with the sills of the porch windows. So I don't know. To me, it looks, quite a bit better than, the existing door. And given, when you look at the doors that are on the different houses, some of them are metal screen doors. There's just, there's kind of a hodgepodge. That's the one that's probably closest to looks like the original door, because they carried the line of the upper glass division right through the door, and the door, the lower part of the door opening matches the sills, windows exactly. But that might be the only one where the screen door is, or that one's a variation.
And that would be hard to do by chance, really.
Yeah.
To get
Right.
an exact would be asking a lot. Yeah. But this is certainly an improvement.
I think it looks more in line with what the group had discussed last time as well. It sounds like he took note of what some of the concerns were and tried to find something that was more transparent and of that language. Can you go back to the other doors real quick? Oh, okay. Yeah, similar percentage of transparency on that one. Obviously, that one is reading a little bit more like a porch door. But kind of similar. I mean, this one, you know, the one that he's picked out has a narrower opening and than that previous one. And I would always vote for having it divided into 3 columns instead of just 2, so that you have a center column. But that's a very nitpicky piece of it that I don't think is really relevant here.
Bill, I think, did you say that there was one that had a little more glass and a little less door, side to side?
I did not see variations in the 3/4 glass
Right,
doors. I did not see variations in how wide the side,
I see.
the frame of the door was. It was just, and I mean, here's one that is similar, although the panels, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to pick this up.
Yeah.
But that's similar to what he has shown, a little different orientation on the panels at the bottom, but there's that version. There is, you can see it, it's the one on an angle, but right in the middle there, that's the frosted glass version of it. It's hard to see it. Yeah, there are variations. So if you said you don't want the glass divided, we could make that a part of the motion. If you, I don't know where that meeting rail, as you were suggesting, Mark, I think you said it looks like that lower edge of the glass is probably, I think you're probably right. It's within that sill to the bottom of the windows of the existing porch. It's somewhere in that, you know, it looks like it's maybe 6 or 8 inches there. It probably falls within that dimension somewhere. So that horizontal line that would be in the door at the bottom of the glass, yeah, right in there somewhere.
I feel like switching to frosted glass would be almost another element, and there's plenty going on there already. So I don't think frosted is, unless someone disagrees. I don't think that's where we're headed.
Agree.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, me as well. I think last month we kind of really wanted to stress the point of adding more glass and making it more of a porch door look. So I would actually maybe even go with a full glass door. I'm just worried those steel panel doors, sometimes those lower panels on it, when it's just like a 3/4 light, it can kind of have that look of trying to look old and classic when it's not, and not pulling it off right, that we try to avoid in the HCC. So, and if Mallory, I think there was one photo of another house that has kind of a full glass door.
Yep.
Way at the bottom, maybe.
Yeah.
Like that right there.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would almost lean more towards that, just for the more porch look of it, rather than a steel. If it's going to be a solid door, I think the full glass gives it more of a porch look. And just to try to avoid that, trying to match the line of the windows existing there, and might not be quite right. And yeah, so that's kind of where my vote would lead.
Don, you asked about the door itself. I don't know, again, hopefully you can see this. That's a kind of a cutaway section of the corner of the door.
Sure. Okay, I understand.
Steel with insulated.
And I think that was his desire. He wanted a more substantial door for security reasons, and that's understandable. Well, I take the point that it's better to not miss by 3 inches, better to miss by a mile. and the full glass might be a better option.
I would support that.
Joey, ask for the full glass and let Phil be the final determinant of.
Yeah, I would support that. I think if we state that we are in favor of maximizing that glass for that porch look, and we use this one as an example to try to reference, and then Phil works on the administrative side to help with that selection, I would feel really comfortable with that. Yeah.
And with that, we're saying full glass, clear, no muttons, correct?
I would be supportive of either. As long as the subdivided lights have vertical orientation, which if that just adds more complexity to what we're going for here, we could just say no subdivided. But that'd be kind of where I'm at. I think the proportions of the lights in the one that he picked out are good. But now I don't know if his have those same muntins in the windows, but those are very vertical.
I should also
Or
note,
He doesn't have
that
one.
one's not.
Yeah.
This one.
I should also note those muntins are applied on the outside of the glass. So it's insulated glass with the muntins on both sides of the glass.
Yeah, and that's a common thing that is a little bit not historic, right? There's a certain artificial character that yields, which, if you follow Incremental Development Alliance, they will tell you just do away with the muntins and have a more elegant look that doesn't have kind of a fake muntin situation. So, Justin, if that's kind of where you were going, I could definitely get behind that of just having a single glass, and that matches his window openings too.
Right, yeah, I was thinking just for the fact of, yeah, sometimes on those steel doors, those don't look as historical, don't pull it off very well. And also the more simple the style and design of the door, the less the eye is drawn to it. And if it's not a historical feature of the house, I wouldn't want to be trying to draw the eye to it with details like that.
And two, this gets rid of that steel panel at the bottom that's sort of a phony raised panel.
Correct, yeah.
So I think all around we've got a good plan. If someone wants to make the motion.
All right.
Can I just add one thing? I walked up to that house today and looked at the door and that just really weird area around the door. I was trying to figure out what would have been that in the original way the house was designed. Was there just a wider door? Were there actually lights on either side of the door? And I couldn't figure it out. And I'm wondering if having that glass go all the way to the bottom is going to look just kind of odd in that with those wide panels on either side. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
I had the same experience, Mark. I walked by a while back, and my impression is those are pieces of particle board that have been painted. And I don't know what the fix is for that. It's not a material that lends itself to that use, but that's what he has, and he's not applying to replace it.
No, I get all that. I'm trying to visualize, and I should have taken some time to Photoshop a full glass door into that panel just to see what it looks like. But I don't know, as I'm looking at it, I'm just trying to visualize with the glass going almost to the ground, what that's going to be like. But I don't know. Maybe it's not worth hashing over. But I can certainly live with it. And I think it would be an improvement to be more glass than not. But anyway, if I'm the only one that's,
I think it ties the door in with the other doors better in the direction that we're heading. And then if anybody ever wants to make an application to improve that particle board when it reaches its design life and needs to be replaced, the porch is already in the right direction.
good point, a baby step. I like it.
All right, I think I will go ahead and move to approve the application for certificate of appropriateness as submitted in for testimony for front door replacement at 12 West 13th Street based on the local guidance in the Secretary of Interior's standard number 9. New additions, exterior alterations, or related new construction shall not destroy historic materials that categorize the property. The new work shall be differentiated from the old and shall be compatible with the massing size, scale, and architectural features to protect the historic integrity of the property and its environment, with the condition that the door is a full light, clear glass, no muttons door of the same kind of style that was proposed, same kind of product.
Is there support?
Do we need to say anything about Phil kind of ironing out the final details, or does that really not matter anymore?
Yeah, do you think we need staff approval on it? I can add that to the motion, or,
We don't have a cut sheet for the door we're imagining.
yeah,
True.
So it'd probably be good for Phil to give a final administrative approval.
yeah, we'll add that to the motion, administrative approval for final door selection.
I would second the motion if there's nothing else.
It's moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is a certificate of appropriateness application for 9799 West 12th Street. The replacement of 2 garage doors with a single wider door. This is one that we tabled last month. Now it says, please table again indefinitely.
Yep, they are running into some issues with their insurance company on
Oh,
the whole set of improvements that they're doing.
oh my,
So they have stopped work.
Okay.
It's been a couple of weeks now, I think, that they've stopped. And they're not sure when they're going to be able to get it moving again. So they've asked to be tabled.
sure. Phil, do we need to move to table it, or do we just?
Yeah, you probably should. Probably move to table it indefinitely.
Okay,
Move to table this. Do I have to refer to it, or can I just move to table this item indefinitely?
I think that's good.
that's good.
That wasn't very elegant. I'm sorry.
I support.
Moved by Berlinski, supported by Cook. Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And it carries. Next item is a certificate of appropriateness application for 272 West 10th Street. Installation of a 6-foot tall vinyl fence. This was tabled from last month as well.
So it was, you tabled it. I went back and got you some additional information, which is included in the packet. The property is owned by Dick and Jane Properties and is under a land contract to Olga Diaz Dion. She lives on the first floor. As I noted, there were some errors made in the processing of the original permit, and it was not forwarded to preservation staff for review. It was approved with a 4-foot picket fence, wood picket fence. And as the period of the 1-year period that our approvals are valid as that was getting towards expiration, the building officials went out and checked out to see what was installed and discovered the 6-foot vinyl fence was installed in its place. If this were not in a historic district, that's a simple revision for the building official to make. It's permitted under the, otherwise permitted under the zoning. It's really the historic district ordinance that becomes the challenge for this particular proposal. So if it were up to them and Historic District Commission didn't have a say in this, they would more than likely approve it as it's been revised. They'd revise the application and approve it the way it's been installed. Having said all of that, I know there are concerns. One, that there wasn't an opportunity to review this, both prior to the wood picket fence and even with this 6-foot fence being installed. But two, it is a vinyl fence and it's very unusual. I'm not aware of a specific instance where the commission has approved a vinyl fence. Having said all of that, I have left, I don't know if, maybe I should just check. Mallory, do you see anyone representing the owner here on this one?
Nope, not that I'm.
No, okay. Well, I left 3 voice messages. I dropped off a note in their front door and have had no response on this. So I think you've got a choice of what you want to do. We have not sent a registered letter. That's probably the next step to try to get their attention. Short of that, you could table it until we get somebody in here, or you could deny the application, and then we go at it from an enforcement perspective.
So there was that fence on across the street from you on Trigg and Kristen Johnston, and they had purchased materials for, I think, a vinyl fence, and then kind of belatedly came and asked for approval. And I think what my recall was that we made them have changed the gate to be wooden.
You're right.
But the rest of the fence was allowed to stay the vinyl because it had all been purchased, even though it hadn't been installed. Is that?
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Yes. Yeah.
So that was a sort of a compromise in a situation where somebody had sort of gone ahead without getting the.
Yep, correct. Yeah.
So that required, that dialogue with that particular applicant required them to be present, so that we could kind of talk through it with them and discuss with them some of that brainstorming. I think that's really hard to do without them.
Yep.
And I think it's really hard to do that from a enforcement perspective too. So I guess it sounds kind of like we need that certified letter / tabling kind of direction for a little bit longer, but that's just my interpretation. I'm not sure if I'm tracking along or not.
No, I kind of agree. The reason we tabled it was to gather more information and to talk to them. And I think waiting more than 1 month would be appropriate if we can get them on the line and get them at a meeting and hear from them directly. I think that's going to be better than just going ahead and action one way or the other.
Is there a move to table this pending the city sending them a registered letter and asking them to appear?
Yeah, I can move to table the review of this application for 1 month as staff attempts any other means to reach out to the homeowner with that letter of register.
Is there support?
I'll support. A second.
Moved by Lambert, supported by Fowler. Those in favor of tabling signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? It's tabled.
Okay.
Under new business, we have a certificate of appropriateness application for 240 West 9th Street. Mr. and Mrs. Fuentes, owners.
Hello.
Hi, Jordy.
Hi. Here we are again. Sorry, guys.
Aye.
I couldn't do this.
It's good to see you every once.
Yeah, well, it's a big project. We want to do it well. You know that measure twice could cut once. So
That's right. Well, I can give just a quick update. We've, on this application, we've provided you the details. There were a set of drawings that were submitted with the application, and then late last week or the middle of last week, excuse me, Karen gave me a call and said they had some revisions to the revisions. So what you see in front of you are the latest version of the plans that I am aware of. And this is essentially, it's the kitchen area on the south side of the building. They have modified the design from what was originally approved. And I've given you some detail on that. Let me just read through those. And Jordy, if there's any point something's changed or I'm not reading it correctly, please jump in.
I would like to let you know that Jonathan Camps is our builder. He's also present here during the meeting. In case you want to ask specific questions.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, either one of you jump in if I'm misstating something here.
Mhm.
The mass of the addition is a setback of approximately 18 inches or so from the south facade. Then reveals the southeast corner of that south wing of the building. If you want to, Mallory, if you wanted the next pairing of photos, yeah. Yep, that's it. That's where most of the changes are visible. The expanded section will have a more modest slope. It was a steeper slope and went out further previously. They've pulled back the roof on the second level and now have a porch area above the first floor, above the kitchen area, instead of the roof extending all the way out there. On the first floor, on the east elevation, there are 3 windows. There were 3 windows that were approved, and now you can see on the east elevation there are 2 windows that flank what I think is either a blank panel or it's clapboarded siding. I'm not sure what the intent is there, and looks like there's maybe an exhaust vent for the range there as well. Then across the south elevation, the first floor kitchen facade will have 2 casement windows flanking a larger fixed window. Previously, they had 5 narrow windows across there, so they've made that revision. All of these, I think, are to accommodate what's going on the interior and how they've moved things around and getting things set up right. The rear exit door has a larger window than what was shown initially. And it's similar, maybe the same as the second floor door to the porch that they've proposed. These are all Colby Ultra Series windows, includes casements and what I think is the fixed window over the sink on the south elevation. All the trim, siding, exterior window casing details, and roof materials are intended to match match the existing in the original approval. Have I missed anything? I believe that.
Just to notice the change in the east elevation where we brought the wall back a little bit
Mhm.
to keep the characteristics of the lines congruent because we had some issues with the soffits and that was going to be a small block out. So we decided to clean also a little bit in 18 inches, as you mentioned, to keep, with the style of the house and also to get more differentiation between the old and the new. So that was one of the reasons also to bring that back because it was flush. The addition was flush with the south side. Now we have this indentation there.
And I believe on that east facade, if you look towards the front of the building, but on the east facade on the second floor, it looks like the window that you're in, that you have there, that looks smaller than I think was originally approved. Is that correct?
What we know, I don't think we are modifying that window.
Jordy, can you move a little closer to your microphone? It's a little hard to hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I don't think that we're touching that window. It's just the existing window. It might be something related to the drawing, but the only changes are in the south section of the home.
Yep. Okay. I believe all I have on this. Maybe what you said, Jordy, I was having a little trouble hearing you as well, but on that south facade, you've got the door, entrance door on the left side.
Yes.
There is a window
Yes.
or was a window that was approved there,
Yeah.
has been removed in this.
Correct. Sorry. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
If Mallory scrolls down, we can see the original, elevations farther down. And then you can just get a sense of the before and after.
Mhm.
Yeah, keep going. One more, I think. One more. Yeah, there.
Yeah.
There.
So now you can see how it was going to look before. Yeah, personally, I like the changes.
I would
feel like
assume
that, I don't know why
stairway.
I'm getting weird feedback here or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Is it
I
just
think-
that window doesn't make sense anymore with the stairway going up?
Yeah, we thought aesthetically it would be too compressed and too tight. And also with the interior design of the kitchen and the steps, there was not enough room now with that process. Yeah.
I think last time we had looked at this, we had kind of talked about the detail along the eave there. If you can kind of see how that transitions and carries that line between the first and second story. The new proposal where you have that balcony going now,
Yes.
are you still kind of planning on keeping that line kind of, or maybe how are you kind of planning on keeping that? It looks like there is kind of some of that
Yes.
same
yes.
detail carried through.
Because you observe the difference is the wall was totally flush before this. We have decided to go a little 18 inches in to have that differentiation and to keep those architectural characteristics homogeneous through the addition to.
So that kind of porch, that detail along the bottom of that, will that kind of mimic the front porch, that railing and kind of the detail will that kind of be the same as what we've approved for the front?
Yes.
Okay.
Are there any other questions for the owner?
Phil, I think you had a note on your packet about the existing foundation and matching that. Is that?
Yeah, that was actually a carryover from
From the previous for the front porch?
previous,
Okay.
which wasn't answered, I don't believe. So they're picking it up. I'm picking up the same question because they are extending the kitchen out. Is that intended to match the existing foundation?
Maybe Jonathan, could you talk a little bit about that?
Hello, men. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, hi, Jonathan.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Jonathan Camps. I've been working for a short time on this plan with Jordy and Karen. And basically, I don't know how to answer this decisively because I haven't got things nailed down for sure. But the desire is to continue every element of the existing home that was historically correct through. If I would have anticipated this question, I would have done my homework and been able to give you a better answer. We will definitely try and do that. I just don't want to tell you, oh yeah, we've got material in hand. Do we have any shots of that foundation that you've talked about in previous meetings? Because we have worked on quite a few period homes, and I know what can be found.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I remember when we talked about that front porch, there was a specific kind of mason or stone that they were thinking about for that we were really on board with and excited about. So
yeah, you observe the rest of the house. That masonry is not carried through. Right now, it's like a little what you call it, cement cover around it. So probably secondary to cost, we would follow what is already in upgrading. That's the condition of the cement. Because it's very deteriorated in some spaces, as you can see in the south.
I might suggest that a condition of the approval be the expectation that they will be matching as closely as they're able to the material on the foundation of that area of the house. But if there's a change, they should let staff know, and we can visit and talk through it. And if there's, we could make a determination, or if it seems contrary, we could bring it back to the commission. But staff could look at it administratively as well.
If it's something you're comfortable with, I can also come up with samples to help get something in hand.
yeah, Phil, is that something you're thinking of administrative approval on, or that you want to run past us?
It's really up to you. I'm comfortable doing that. If you'd like to see it, that's fine. We can bring it back to you.
You're talking at this point about just this back section of the kitchen addition as opposed to the whole rest of the basement, right? Or the foundation.
Yeah, I'd have to go back to the original approval
Yeah.
to see what the language, how it was worded in the report and in the submission materials for the front porch. These are two separate applications. If what they come up with is different than what they've got an approval on the front porch, then yeah, we'd need to look at that too. But
what I feel like was that they were speccing those columns on the front porch were a sort of a stone, but the foundation of the house is just a mishmash of stuff, as Jordy said.
Yeah.
And whether, I don't know if there was an intention, I don't know if they're going to rebuild the whole foundation or patch it in or what, but it seems to me that the columns were distinctly different than the foundation of the house.
At the current time, yes, the columns have that facade stone line. In between the columns is just wood and cement, flat cement wall, no blocks. And I think our proposal was to have those blocks in the front. And our idea was the rest of the foundation just to keep up and with the current status, yes, to improve it in the places where we have some issues, like just to keep the same days right now. The only stone modification was in the front porch and between the columns.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with having Phil kind of weigh in on whatever.
Yeah, I think I'm comfortable overall leaving. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Well, I just meant that I'm comfortable with Phil, making final calls on materiality for that back section. For this particular,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. That back area, I think we leave that to administrative approval on the material, get as close as you can to matching it. And I think we've already discussed that front porch area and have kind of set out what we approve for that.
if there's no other discussion, I'm happy to make a motion.
I'm good.
Okay, anybody else? If not, I move to approve the application for a certificate of appropriateness as submitted and per testimony for the modifications to the south and east facades to accommodate kitchen and bath changes at 240 West 9th Street as proposed based on local guidelines and the Secretary of State's Interior Standard Number 9. New additions, exterior alterations, or related new construction shall not destroy historic materials that characterize the property. The new work shall be differentiated from the old and shall be compatible with the massing, size, scale, and architectural features to protect the historic integrity of the property and its environment. And any questions about the basement materials or foundation materials will be resolved by administrative staff.
I'll support the motion.
Moved by Cook, supported by Lambers. Any other discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you very
0
much.
vote.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Jordy.
all right. Bye-bye.
Aye.
Jordy. Thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yep, very good.
Okay.
There's no administrative approvals this month. Next item is committee and staff reports.
Okay, we've given you two documents. One is what I present as a final version. It's still until we actually submit it and make it official, but it's the work in the National Register edition. We talked about it last month. I did get some comments from a couple of you and have integrated those in, made some changes. So that I'm proposing as a final draft. Once that's approved, actually, I'd like to wait until I get the downtown National Register district to the same spot as a recommended document, and then want to take both of those and and get your formal blessing, maybe a vote on both of those, get those to the Planning Commission, and get them on record as being adopted as part of what we look at when we're reviewing projects in those areas. Again, these are all, both of these, this document and the one for downtown, are intended for those portions of the National Register districts, or in the case of downtown, all of that district, where we have no formal authority to review, but it's an attempt to encourage. It's an invitation, I think, as Nick used the phrase, an invitation for property owners and contractors and developers to participate in the historic character of those districts. So we're proposing that as one of the two items on our staff report. And I guess I'll stop there and see if there are any questions or comments, or maybe I missed something in the document, or.
Any questions or concerns?
No, just a compliment for Phil for all the work he put into whipping that into shape over a long period of time. That was a lot of work, Phil. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Heavens, yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, agreed. It looks great, Phil.
Okay, thanks. We'll bring it back with the downtown one. Well, we'll get that one to you first for a little further review. And then we'll bring them both back and ask for you to vote on supporting those. The other document that we provided to you is the annual CLG report. That we are a certified local government, and because of that, we are responsible for reporting back to the state on our activities. The last 2 years, they've gotten more aggressive about the reporting and the kinds of information they ask for, and at this point, we're essentially filling in blanks on a form. So we've given you a copy of what we have submitted. I don't think there's anything particularly noteworthy in the document. It tries to summarize what we have done, where we haven't completed something, why we haven't, or what is our plan to complete some pieces. I would say the one area where we're making almost zero progress is in the area of surveying. And I wish Jay were here tonight, because it's a conversation to have with Jay as well. We've asked in our current budget, we've asked for funds again for some additional surveying. And at this point, it's looking like the resources will not be available for that part of things. But you probably noticed in the document that there are a couple of areas we'd like to continue surveying and wrap up some surveying work.
Phil, could I just interrupt? Is Nick able to rejoin us? I don't see him.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I don't know if somebody can contact him and tell him he's street legal again. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get him a text here. So that was that document. I don't know if you have any questions about the document, about what I just reported. Any concerns you see or questions? I think one of the challenges for us is also trying to get educational opportunities more available. Frequently, actually, it's probably an easier time right now to get educational opportunities, because so much is our webinars, everything's online these days. It's usually a little bit cheaper and sometimes doesn't cost anything. So it really behooves me to make sure you're getting notices of those training opportunities as they come up. We did take advantage of some of those, and we've noted them in the document. You want to go down a page? Oh, okay. So I read, I wondered what was, why. Okay.
The teacher marked something.
Yeah.
Are you looking for approval of this document by? or
You
approval?
don't need to.
Okay,
You don't need to approve it. Just be aware that we do that. And also during the budgeting process, I should send you, after the meeting or this week, I'll send you a copy of a chart that we put together as part of the budgeting process that shows a comparison of certificates of appropriateness reviewed and approved that cover the last 10 years or so. So just sort of an FYI, I'll send
Sure.
that to you all. And then I do have a couple of other things, two other things. One, I want to let you know that we've had some conversation with Black River School. They may be interested. Did Nick join us yet?
I don't think so.
Okay. Mallory, maybe while I'm talking, could you send Nick an email or a text or both? We've had conversations with Black River School. They may be interested in having the school, particularly the Holland Furnace portion, the original building there, designated as a landmark under our ordinance. They're still looking into it and trying to understand what that will mean to them and what the process is. There may be a determination that it is already eligible for the National Register. So whether that accomplishes what they would like to accomplish with this, with the review or not, or with this decision or not, is yet to be determined. But they're looking into local designation, possible National Register designation, and what the impacts of a National Register eligible determination are. So other than that, you may have noticed in the CLG report, in terms of the work plan or the goals for this current year or this coming year, well, I guess for them, for CLG, it's this current year. For our budget, it's after July 1. There is a desire to create a historic preservation element in the city's master plan. If you've had a chance at all to look at the master plan that was prepared probably close to 5 years ago now,
Yes.
you may notice that historic preservation doesn't appear in there. I don't believe I found it once as mentioned in there. It's not to say they're not paying attention to it, but they weren't in the process. It wasn't a component. I've been looking at some outlines of what other communities have been putting together for their master plan component on preservation. I've drafted up a sample of what ours might include. And I've got a couple of other ideas that I want to incorporate into that. I will send that out to you over the next week or two as well, just to get a sense of what could be included in a master plan update. That will, in some ways, it relates back to the design guidelines document that I was preparing. I was trying to make that a fairly comprehensive document. Some of the things that are in that could very well be in a master plan update rather than a design guideline document. So maybe it's a question of either priorities or which document and which place they serve the most purpose. I think it will be important to identify potential survey areas to the extent that we know that there are properties we all may agree on are likely to be historic but haven't been surveyed or intensively surveyed. Identifying those kinds of properties is one of those things that we should be sure to include. That master plan will then give us a stronger argument for future funding for doing survey work and trying to complete that aspect of what we know about Holland.
Bill, does that tie in at all with something we've discussed from time to time is the so-called newer houses in the historic district that we've wondered if some of them shouldn't be considered for inclusion.
Yeah.
Would that be the same kind of surveying, or is that a little less intensive?
Well, that within the existing districts, to make a change from non-contributing to contributing is a decision that that the commission can make, but it needs to be made based on some data and an argument presented to you.
Mm-hmm.
That should be, there are a relatively few number of buildings that fall in that category. That was one of those I had hoped to knock off last year with survey, which was pulled back from us. And it continues to be one I'd like to complete this year. But I don't know that we're going to have survey assistance. So then it becomes a question of how much time is available of my time, or if we can get volunteers to do things, or some pull together enough documentation that we can make a
I
fair.
think a couple, three of us were talking about it just before COVID hit, and then realized we couldn't be in a vehicle together, but time is coming when that could be done.
Yeah.
So I guess if it was a matter of volunteers, I would be willing to help. But
It's volunteers, and maybe with Nick's technical expertise and maybe some of mine, although architectural styles is not my high point. But
well, I think one of, go ahead.
Yeah, between the group of us, I think we can probably get that piece checked off our list.
Yeah, and I would add too that there's enough enthusiasts in this group that we could have probably enough for a quorum to travel around on foot or in a car, so that we actually have everybody's input who wants to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe warmer weather's coming, so a little simpler. So, but yes,
I'll vote for that.
And if we were a Model T, it would be historic.
Well, that's true too. Yeah. Well, we only go back to 1923, so
that would be pretty. That would be pretty cringy, Mark.
Yeah.
That would be pretty bad.
So that's all I have for you tonight.
Okay, very good. Anything else? Does anyone have anything? Hearing none, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Cook,
Or,
supported by Lambert, I think.
yep.
Those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Those against can just stay online the rest of the night if they want. Thanks for all your help, Mallory and Phil, and pardon the rough start. But
No, thank you. And thanks for pinch hitting there. Nick,
Okay.
can you stay on just for a second? I don't know if you got back in time to hear what I said about Black River School. Okay, just stay on for a second. Mallory, can you hold for a minute?
Mhm.
Okay,